Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we won't discuss any Fujifilm medium format camera or the adaptation of full frame lenses onto it because Hasselblad, our neighbor next door, has just announced a new camera which will probably appeal to some of us, appeal to some topographic photographers, technical photographers, and I'm here to either bum you up or save you some money and say, don't stress over this camera, it will give you not too much. It is of course a wonderful camera, quite exotic if I must add, but in terms of topographic photography, in terms of landscaping, even in terms of portrait, for the most part, it won't give you so much more than a FUJI GFX 100S, and can probably argue even on the 50 models. It does have some advantages, I won't deny them, but it costs so much more and has some very meaningful shortcomings. So if you don't have time for the entire clip, you can just stop here. This camera is very nice if you have the extra cash, but if you just want the best technical quality at half this price, you have many options. With Fujifilm and even with the Hasselblad's older model. And I'll explain why I'm not regretting even for a second for buying this Fujifilm. And if we'll have the time, I'll talk about some red flags that I've seen across the reviews, which are not completely reviews published about this camera so far. So let's begin. So what is the new Hasselblad X2D Mark II 100C, or as some have called her, X2D2, for Star Wars fans like myself, you can probably relate. So the Hasselblad X2D2 is a very compact, meticulously designed and crafted medium format camera. It's about as small as, not the largest full-frame DSLRs and mirrorless cameras. It's a bit smaller than Fujifilm's 100S series. Very slim. It looks very tactile. I haven't had the chance to touch it myself, which is kind of a shame, but this allows me to give you an actual unbiased opinion because I have no relationship whatsoever with Hasselblad. So my only bias is that I have the competitor, so I probably will persuade myself that I was making the right decision, but I'll try to base it, and you'll be the judge of that. No money got even close to change hands. I wasn't invited to anything. Yeah, that's the fun part of being a small-scale content creator. So, 100 megapixel camera with what seems to be the best stills-oriented stabilizer in the market. It's the first mirrorless camera, I think, with a LiDAR-based autofocus, which is quite impressive, at least as a technical feat. It also had some bubbling about HDR, which is nice if you're buying an almost $8,000 camera to shoot JPEG or HEIF or any other compressed file, which I hope you don't, but it's your choice. It has an amazing, or what seems to be an amazing rear screen and IBIS. It seems to be very good. Hasselblad has one of the best menu systems across the market. It's simple but not simplistic. It gets whatever you need, but not too much, and doesn't get in the way. It has a joystick. It's been touted as one of the main features of the camera. It has a joystick, the things that were, I think, my 5D Mark II already had, and probably even the 20D or even earlier models, but now Hasselblad finally got it. And it has an AFC, a continuous autofocus, first time for Hasselblad if I'm not mistaken. So the first batch of reviews, and I'll say reviews for that part, has just come out alongside the camera, and those reviews are all made by people who either got paid by Hasselblad or got the camera, or even just got the camera for several weeks to test it out, but got the right or privilege to be the first to publish something about a camera, hence got a lot of traffic. So they've all got something out of saying good stuff about the camera. And as you can expect, none of these reviews are pretty critical about the camera. They have all good things to say. What are the red flags that I usually try to notice? If the only comparison that they're making is to the older model, well, yes, of course, the newer model is better than the older model. If they show things that have been around for ages as a new and something new that hasn't been done before, and then say by Hasselblad, it means that it has been done before, and Hasselblad just finally closed this gap. We can see it with continuous autofocus. We can see it with the joystick. We can kind of see it with the HDR abilities of the camera, which actually present to different extent in other cameras. So it's really important to differentiate where the camera just closes the gap and where it actually innovates. And it does innovate in two major fields, in my opinion. One is the LiDAR sensor, which gives it what seems to be pretty nice AFC. I think it's limited to certain Hasselblad-only lenses, which makes sense because synchronization between the lens and the camera works differently because the reading is not made from the actual sensor, but from an external sensor, which means it has to be very specifically highly synced with the lens. Bear in mind, it's not the same as Canon or Sony or even Fujifilm's sensor-based autofocus. The second improvement is what touted as a 10-stop image stabilizer. So I have no experience with it. I can say it's 10 stops. I have seen in some of the reviews quite impressive abilities, up to 2 seconds and sometimes even more than that, with what seems to be relatively sharp images, which is quite impressive, and I'm one of the greatest fans of in-body image stabilization. You can see my video, it will probably show up here or here. I never remember on which side it does show up, but you'll see the little icon. So what the Hasselblad X2D2 really improves over the rest of the market is what seems to be a better IBIS overall, and a new, improved in a sense, AF system with the LiDAR, which is a first for the entire market, and it's quite impressive in my opinion. Why I wouldn't sweat over it at all? Well, because of several reasons. First of all, it doesn't shoot video, and it sounds so weird to say that about 100 megapixel stills-oriented camera fair and square, but as you can see, I use my GFX 100S as my main video camera. I don't do that a lot, but I really like having the option. And later generations of Fujifilm cameras have been steadily improving. I think the GFX 100 Mark II is extremely powerful video camera, and it costs about as much as the Hasselblad, though it is a bit bigger and bulkier and whatnot. It's also much faster. Another reason why I wouldn't upgrade or even think about upgrade to the Hasselblad is the fact that Hasselblad has no shutter in camera. They're based on leaf shutters within the lenses, which are very good to specific shooting types, mostly flash-based shooting type, because it gives you the infinite sync. You can sync in whatever speed the lens or the camera is set at, but it means that if you adapt any non-Hasselblad lens, you're forced to use the electronic shutter, and with this sensor, the 100 megapixel Sony sensor, it's fairly slow. It will create impossible to fix deviations and wobbles and very unpleasant, unnatural artifacts. So no, I sometimes use it with my GFX 100S, just maybe if I want to shoot at extremely open apertures at DR for 100%. It's shit. It looks bad whenever there's even a slightly moving subject, or even if you're not as steady as possible. So it's almost impossible to efficiently adapt other lenses. And you can say, yeah, why would you want a 100 megapixel Hasselblad camera to just use inferior optics? And I'll say to that, Yeah, I'd like to have lenses faster than f2.4. I think that's what Hasselblad gives us, or maybe there is one f1.9 lens. And I would like more lenses and cheaper lenses than Hasselblad provides. They do have some incredible lenses like the 55 f2.5 shown here. But yeah, I like the Voigtlander 50 f1.2, which is much smaller, and it gives me a totally different experience. In my opinion, with these kind of lenses, when cropped to 1:1 or 6:6 on my GFX 100S, the experience is much closer to an actual Hasselblad, like this 500C that I have. Don't shoot it so often because film has become obscenely expensive in recent years, and I don't have nor the time nor the money to do that. But it does give an experience which, in my opinion, is closer to this Hasselblad than what these Hasselblads can provide. So yeah, no, I won't go for that one. Another reason is that it's extremely expensive. At almost $8,000, I think it is cheaper, which is nice. It's cheaper by $800 US since the last one, which is even more impressive considering tariffs and whatnot. However, it's leaps and bounds more expensive than GFX 100S or GFX 100S Mark II with a better AF system, which I don't know if it can go head-to-head with the Hasselblad, but I presume it's about the same, or at least not as worse. But if you're really looking for an extreme AF system, just go full frame. Sony and Canon, even Nikon, will give you AF systems that no medium format system can hold a candle to, can even get closer. And it's not only the cameras, it's the lenses themselves that are not built for high speed, high pace AF. It does have one nice feature that I hope Fuji will incorporate someday, and this is the single card slot with the 1 terabyte SSD internal, which allows the camera an extremely fast transfer speeds to the computer. It allows you to work with just one SD card. It's not an SD, it's a CF Express card, and still get backup. So I think it's better. However, I do see the advantage of having SD card or memory card based system, because memory cards are replaceable and the SD card inside a camera will die eventually, and then the camera goes to, I don't know, either waste or very expensive repair if I know Hasselblad correctly. So to conclude this, I don't think it's a rant, but a comparison. If you want a camera for what both of those cameras does best, which is impeccable image quality in stills and impeccable full landscape, portraits, architecture, I think the Fujifilm, even the 100S and sometimes even the 50S, will give you an amazing camera. For what the Hasselblad gives you, you're gonna pay so much more, and you're gonna give up so much for the lenses, the price of the lenses, the inability to adapt various other M mount, EF mount, Nikon F mount, and whatever mount lenses. And yeah, I think it's not worth it. So yeah, if you have any thoughts about the issue, you're more than welcome to comment and say what you think. And if you enjoy the content, please share, like, subscribe, do whatever it is, and come here to the next video, which I have no idea when will be published, because yes, not my job to post YouTube videos. See you next time. Bye-bye.